good boy. Now wait just a minute. But Coach!
Why was Fishhooks so hated? Well, to find out, we must do some digging and get to know what Fishhooks is to begin with. Fishhooks is a 2D animated series created by Noah Z. Jones. The series premiered in September of 2010 and finished in the spring of 2014, lasting for a total of 59 episodes over 3 seasons. The series follows a group of friends named Bee, Oscar, and Milo as they live their daily lives in a pet store, going from tank to tank, attending school, and having funny shenanigans happen. The series follows these characters as they grow throughout their time in high school, and we even get to see them graduate, so this series ends up getting a proper conclusion. On top of that, this show had a lot of top-notch talent working on it, such as Alex Hirsch, Maxwell Adams, Mr. Warburton, C.H. Greenblatt, among many others. So why is there a lot of hate towards this series? Well, just looking at the ratings of the show on IMDb, it's stuck at a 4.9, while other shows are pretty mixed about it being a 6 or a 7, which makes more sense to me. Looking at these various ratings, a lot of common complaints start with the show just not being funny at all. But I don't know about that. I found this series to be very funny at times. With its random and offbeat humor, I might be biased towards that kind of humor, but I feel like the jokes just catch me off guard and just make me laugh constantly. Even just from the opening theme where the trio is singing in their seats and the teacher is just done with all their shenanigans. That to me, at the very least, is funny. On top of that, the side characters honestly just steal the show half the time, with one joke after another.
Need help!
A gigantic Navy boy is attacking my school!
I knew this day would come.
They almost never fail to make me laugh. Another complaint I see a lot is about the animation. Some say it looks awful, like the worst show they've ever seen. Now, I don't know how many cartoons you have all seen, but I've seen shows that have much worse animation than this one. Yet I really hear complaints about those shows. Most of the characters, basically all the fish, are done in 2D and look perfectly fine to me. Although most of this criticism goes towards the more realistic art style, kinda looks like a mixture of a collage project, which I think benefits the show if anything. But they say the backgrounds and other animals are just too ugly and scary to look at. Now, I can assure you that this does not look that scary one bit. Ugly? Sure, but not scary. Even though the art style is rough around the edges at times, I can see it as an interesting artistic choice. Having more of a focused characters in 2D animation while everything else from their perspective just looks more real to them. Kind of giving them a perspective of how we see other things ourselves.
It is yours if you merely forfeit the game and go home to your fish mommies.
The fish are the cleaner and smoother animation because they were the ones that we were more focused on. So I guess they just wanted them to be more eye-appealing. Now, another surprisingly huge complaint about this show is that many people say it's just a ripoff of SpongeBob. Now, I don't know about you guys, but besides the focus on fish and it being underwater most of the time, there's not a lot to compare here, to the point of it being claimed a ripoff. People don't even give any reasons at all, they just say it's a ripoff of SpongeBob, and that's the argument. Not very much of an argument if you ask me.
Wow, all that talent and a winning smile.
Cause unless SpongeBob started to go to school with his friends, there's not really a lot to compare. It's just saying like SpongeBob the movie is a ripoff of The Little Mermaid because they both take place underwater and have a mermaid. To me, it's just bad criticism. The last of the most common gripes people have with Fishhooks is that the show is just plain boring. Nothing really happens, and it lacks variety in what the characters do every episode. I'm not sure how many episodes these people were watching, I'm guessing not a lot, but even though many episodes take place at school, it all makes sense in the context of the show. They are teenagers after all. There's also a good variety of episodes outside the school and even outside the fish tanks. I was able to binge this show in less than a week and was thoroughly entertained throughout it all.
Hey, get away from my sign, man. This is my stop sign.
He's got a spoon!
We're sorry. We thought you were our friend Oscar.
See? He looks like this broccoli.
Now, I know this is not the best series, it does have its problems like any other series. For one thing, I do agree with the criticism with the voice acting that it can be a little bit over the top at times, when not necessary. But at the same time, it can benefit the show to keep the energy going. Fishhooks is really like a 7 out of 10 show at best. I just never understood all the hate towards this series, and I will personally defend it. It absolutely does not deserve the slander that people have been giving it. It's an overall good show. I just love the chaotic energy, and I'm sure they knew exactly what they were doing when making this show. I feel so many shows around the 2010s just had very similar energy as this one, yet none of those shows really get criticized for it. In fact, they are more praised for it. I get that other companies like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon are more known for their random and wacky shows, but that doesn't mean that others can't do it as well. Disney just threw their hat in the ring, and for what it was, I think it was done well for what they could do with the premise, giving a more chaotic spin to the slice of life genre without completely losing what the overall show is, and I believe a lot of the best of it came out on top.